To stocks now, an agricultural chemicals maker Nufarm has struggled to hit on the right formula. Its shares fell as much as 5% today, despite half-year earnings leaping by more than 300%. Investors seem unconvinced that Nufarm has finally put the problems of the last few years behind it. Andrew Robertson reports.
Poor weather conditions for farmers and a narrowly focused product mix have contributed to a tough time for Nufarm in recent years. The weather's improved and so has the product mix, which is why Chief Executive Doug Rathbone is confident about the outlook.
We've got good seasons, good season in Australia, a good spring starting in the US and Canada. Brazil's been a good season. We've experienced that. The selling season's largely done there.
Nufarm has operations in more than 100 countries and gets more than 60% of its revenue from overseas. That revenue was down 4% in the half to $863 million. Net profit was $18 million compared to just $4 million last time.
I think this is more a comforting result rather than anything to get overly excited about. If you've been a long-term shareholder in Nufarm, you've probably got some confidence that at least they seem to be stabilising at the moment.
A process that isn't being helped by the high Australian dollar. However, Doug Rathbone says because Nufarm operates in so many countries, the impact of the dollar on Australian exports is minimised.
We've got 3 plants in Europe manufacturing, and they export about 70% of what they produce to the USA, Brazil, Canada, some to here, and that exchange rate's helping us.
And while the weather in Australia has been good for Nufarm in terms of drought-breaking rain, there was a downside. Particularly on the east coast, the weather was unseasonably cool this summer, keeping insects and fungal disease in check.
Fungicide sales were down approximately 20% year on year, and gross margin was also slightly down. Disease pressure in the key southern hemisphere markets, which drives first half fungicide sales, was not as strong as last year.
But while Nufarm is bullish about the Australian and American markets, it's taking a different approach in Europe.
We're being cautious around some of the Mediterranean regions where the GFC's hit the hardest in many ways. We see a lot of cooperatives in Europe strong and will perform well, and that's particularly so in Germany, East Germany, Romania, Hungary, those sort of countries, Poland. So we see that as functioning pretty well.
For Nufarm shareholders, one of the best pieces of news from the profit result was the reinstatement of a dividend, albeit a small one, at 3 cents a share, fully franked.
Which now means that the company somewhat believes that some of that the worst times are behind it. It's comfortable giving away 30% of profits to shareholders, and shareholders may take some faith that possibly the debt issues of the recent past are now behind it.
They didn't though, with Nufarm shares finishing the day down 3%.